Welcome to Coffee and Pizza. I hope you can enjoy.
Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Pizza. And from today, we have someone very special. Maybe not many people know, but if I say Nuclei, if I say Subfinder, if I say ADDPX, many people gonna know Project Discovery. And this Project Discovery is created and so co-founder, we can say, and CTO from Sandeep. Thank you very much for coming. It's a pleasure to have someone like you here. And thank you very much for your time. Also, as with some people don't know, he is Geek Boy. And again, thank you very much. My pleasure to have the possibility to stay here with you.
Thank you, Albert. It's a pleasure to have here.
Okay, one of the first questions I like to do for my guests is from where are you from?
Yeah, I'm based in India, currently in Jaipur.
Mhm. And you was born there. You born and grew in India because
Yeah. So I moved some cities in India, but yeah, I born and brought up in India only. I born actually in the UP, one of the state in India. Then later, I moved to Mumbai, where I did my schooling, my graduation. And then 5 years back, I moved to Jaipur, where I start to work with my co-founder friends and on the working on the project discovery. So this is the third city I moved. So currently in Jaipur.
mhm. That's very interesting because I believe, from my point of view, someone when is from you are not my first guest from India because many people in cybersecurity, vast of Indian, very talented people. It's coming from India because not because maybe India have something special. It's because India is so huge, have many people, and often sometimes these things happens, right? And one of the things I believe is interesting for some people is like how was when you was younger there? Like you was going to the school, you had possibility, or it was a difficult start from your beginnings?
No, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, come the initial question about lots of people in India. I guess yeah, there's a lot of people and there's so many people with interest of doing what they like to. And I mean, this is not something I had when I started back. I mean, in the schools, I like to study. So till my schooling, I guess I was so much into studies, just doing studies, nothing else. And actually, when I started to go college, I from a background, I came from the vernacular medium where the English was not my first language. So when I moved to college, then the language which I studied from 1 to 10 got changed, which is basically Hindi, and then it got English. And that's where I got little difficulties in terms of understanding, let's say, the things I'm studying at that time. And that's where my interest from studies got little distracted and goes more into computer gaming. I started to bunk some of college lectures and uh, go and play Counter Strike in cyber cafes, and that's where actually that was the turning point for me in terms of, let's say, getting into computers and knowing about gaming primarily, and that's where I started to meet friends who's aware about computers or luckily, there was one person who actually introduced me to hacking at that time. He used to be a ethical hacker trainer instructor. I met him in cyber cafe while playing computer games. So that's how I got introduced to hacking, and I guess that's where everything started. I mean, I got so much interested into it in terms of, I mean, with the knowledge, you can do some stuff in computers. And since yeah, at that time I did not have the computer for myself, so I just yeah started to spend more time in cyber cafes, and then I also attended the lectures of my friend where I got more information about hacking, and that's where the curiosity got started. So before that, there was nothing like that for me in hacking, but after that point, just interest got shifted from studying to hacking itself. And I guess after 2 years, my parents brought me computer, and then yeah, it was just going college and spending rest of the time in the YouTube, Google, where you know what to search, then you can find the stuff you're looking for. So that's where I start to spend all the time just learning about hacking. I guess in early 2 3 years. I guess that's how it started. But I did completed my graduation, since I know it's the basic thing one one has to do. You don't want it to left out the schooling. At least for me, it was not option, because I mean I was not so much into hacking or gaming till my I completed my graduation. So it's after my graduation I started to spend more or less the full time into doing hacking, learning more about, and later bug bounty. So yeah, I would say it was yeah, it was not something that I always yeah looking to do. I guess that was the turning point when I bunked the college lecture, got into cyber cafe, knows few stuff about computers, and then got introduced to hacking. After that, I guess everything was changed, and then after completing my graduation, I just decided I will just spend all the time here. It was more out of interest. I had no pressure around, let's say, I need to do job quickly and that kind of stuff. I'm the youngest kid in the family, so I had no pressure from family. I was lucky one. So I spend most of time just learning. I don't wanted to do work or job at that point, because I mean something I thought we will see later. Let's do what is interesting for now. And it just became journey from that point. I guess till that point I'm just doing the stuff I like so much so far.
That very 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 interesting, because one of the things, the first questions I have about what you are explaining, because I believe it's very very cool, your background and everything. It's why, or do you started creating Call of Duty mods for for play and wins? No, you never did.
No, no, I mainly, let's say, I mean, I still play Counter Strike. So I started with Counter Strike and like 10 years back, and I still play the same game. So in terms of gaming, I'm primarily into Counter Strike, starting from Condition Zero, 1.6, CSGO to Orange. I mean, there's so much version of CS came out of it, but still playing the same game.
That's good, but I know some people when I start to play video games, I start with hacking. The first thing the people start to do it is create mods for the game to wins, or for for improve the shooting or something like that, and and it's very
No, I
tricky,
mean,
but it's the door, right? That if at the moment, if it's something working for that person, can be interesting. That's why
I mean, no, I can totally relate. I mean, not let's say the hacking gaming. I mean, the first thing probably I did when I got into, let's say, knowing about this stuff is the Mac spoofing, where in my local area
network.
network I was able to spoof Macs and then get high internet speed. But yeah, that was the one of the stuff when internet got expired and you wanted to do more stuff. So that was the first thing I tried, and it worked surprisingly.
That's so pretty good. And another question I have is, okay, you started from yourself, and you started to learning hacking for yourself. But one of the things I come to my mind when I know something on people like you started with system, more based on background with systems, or you go more in coding at the beginning.
No, actually, I mean, I did graduation in let's say, computer science and
Mhm.
let's say, information security, but I would not relate or suggest anyone it has anything to do with my studies. I guess I completed my graduation so that I'm not leaving it behind. But I guess it's mostly all the effort or the information, I would say, that was presented on the internet for the things that you're looking for. So it was not from coming from the background of my education. It was more of all the information, let's say, I got to learn just starting from the internet itself.
Mm. I make you these questions because one of the things always I am interested in is what's the first thing you hacked?
Yeah, so I guess yeah, probably in in early days, even before knowing let's say the hacking stuff. I mean, I started initially in 2011, where I was just getting to know about the common hacking techniques like SQL injection, remote code execution, SSRF, and all that. But those at that point, it was more of all the learning stuff. I'm not actually hacking, the target to actually to hack for it. It
Mhm.
was more of a learning curve, I guess. Uh, After 3 years of doing just these learning stuff, labs, and all that, I got to know about the bug bounty itself. I mean, at that time, bug bounty was not so common, or let's say
Popular, we
where
can say.
everyone know about the concept. So even let's say after 3 years of learning these, I got introduced to bug bounty concept, and I recall uh, Facebook, and then hacking on the hacker one. I guess I got my first bounty from the Coinbase. It was a bug bounty program hosted on the Hackon platform, and I guess that's where I started my primarily bug bounty journey on the Hackon itself. And the Coinbase was the first program which I received the bounty for. And I guess after that, I just stick to the program. And yeah, I guess yeah, probably reported more than 1,000 reports there.
That's so cool. Then I have another question is, okay, you start from the beginning, you start to discover bug bounty. And when you start with bug bounty, it's a question, maybe it's a very dumb question, not very interesting, but from my point of view, can be interesting because knowing your background is you start in bug bounty for passion or because it's most about question for money. What was your motivation at that time?
I guess, as I was saying, like I was doing the hacking for 3 years without even knowing, like you can actually make money from the hacking itself. So it was always about just the fun or knowing about what you can do with hacking. In fact, before I got introduced to bug bounty, I never knew or even think of that you can actually make legal money with by
Mhm.
doing hacking. It's always like you do bad stuff if you need to earn from doing hacking. So I never imagined it's even something possible. I guess then I got to know about the bug bounty concept. So it was so new and even fascinating from the point that you can make, legal money by hacking itself. So I guess it came just as not only as surprising, but it was so interesting that you can make money from the party. So that was the interest to start with. And I guess, yeah, I mean, I just got stick to with the Hackon platform in terms of how well it was in terms of management. I mean, starting when there was no bug bounty platforms, I would say it was hard to manage the things you report and then follow back and all that kind of stuff. So the bug bounty platform was, let's say, just doing all the stuff for you. You just need to hack on whatever program they have hosted on. So I just I just like the platform. I got stick to it, and I guess I tried in terms of like say 5 or 6 months just doing trying to report stuff that makes sense. And I guess after 6 months I got the first vulnerability. So it was even I had some background of for few years. It was so different from the bug bounty perspective, where it really matters, let's say, what's the security impact or business impact the thing you're reporting. So you need to be also keep all those things in mind. I guess that's something I learned with the time. And I guess the time I got first bound, it was just kind of hit that you can make money by just doing hacking. And I guess the more motivating factor for me, it was I mean, I never wanted to do work. I mean, the regular work. I just wanted to, do something where I'm my own boss. I'm just doing however or whenever I like. So that is something bug bounty really made it possible, and I guess that's the primary reason why I got stick to it. It just gave me the freedom I always wanted to have for myself. So that was
Mhm.
primary motivation for me.
Then then the thing now is why or how borns project discovery, because it's something like you need a tool for create this bug bounty, or you was doing bug bounty and you was thinking I want to create some tool can be easy, or maybe it was a tool do you have it already and you want to share with the community.
Yeah, no, yeah, this is really interesting actually. So I when I started doing bug bounty in 2014, I actually did like full-time bug bounty for 5 years straight on the hackathon platform itself. I've been to top three hacker at one point and that platform. So I spend a lot of time doing the full-time bug bounty, and then I have circle of friends who are also doing the same. So we are always exchanging the ideas, and at that time I guess there is the recon part and there is the manual hacking. When you collect all the information about the target you are hacking on, then you actually proceed with exploring the application and doing the hacking manually. So the exploration part, or let's say the reconnaissance part, is where you always have an edge if have something extra that not others are not aware or not finding it. So I always look for the existing open source projects we have provided by the community, open source community at that time. So I always used to explore these projects on the GitHub, and GitHub is the place actually where all of us, or let's say the co-founder of Project Discovery, we met. We actually started to collaborate or met for the first time on the GitHub itself. So one of my co-founders' friend is actually the author of the Subfinder project, the first project. It's a subdomain enumeration tool. So I started to collaborate with him on the that project itself. I mean, the ideas, the new things can be added, or things that was not there before. So that's how we started to collaborate on that project itself. And I guess after some collaboration, we just this started to share or discuss more of a multiple project thing, where we can do this as well. Like we include this feature in this project, then we can do that as well. So that's how the discussion got started between a few of us, let's say, of the GitHub platform, probably in the common community Slack channel, and yeah, that on the mobile as well. But yeah, I guess after working probably 8 years in the bug bounty, in the automation, I guess we had great ideas that we can actually turn into project that can become really useful thing in terms of it's basically about the stuff that we have been doing for on a daily basis, either as a security engineer or bug bounty hunter or pen tester, or whatever the role you are in the security space, the stuff you're doing it manually. We I mean, by the way, just for the context, after doing bug bounty, I worked for the HackerOne as a triage analyst for 3 years. So I've been to on the other side as well. So yeah, I mean, I had the idea around the things in terms of, I mean, the automation can make impact on with the work that we have been doing manually for so long. So that was the reason we started to collaborate into turning those ideas into projects. And I guess that's how everything started. We started to collaborate in part time of our work. So we actually worked all together on the working on these projects for 2 years, apart from our full time work. And then we decided to create. Yeah, we started to publish one and another project. So Subfinder was the primary project, the reason why we met together. And I guess then we just started to uh, convert or make all those idea possible into multiple projects. I mean, currently on the Project Discovery we have around 20 or 25 plus open source project doing one thing at a time, just like Linux philosophy, where we try to make tool for one thing, and it's just only focus on doing the specific thing. So in that way, we created those multiple projects, and then yeah, I guess after 2 years of doing this part time, we got interest from the investors, where they basically gave confidence us to do this full time. And yeah, I guess after 2 years of doing this full time, we basically thought the impact we able to make in the open source community with the work we have been doing as a part time, it can be really yeah, I mean, we cannot imagine how much impact we can make if we do this full time. So with that idea, we started to do project discovery for full time, I guess in 2021. I guess that's how everything started.
I believe the key of the success of Nuclei is the ability, no, the possibility to use YAML files,
Hmm.
for do this pen testing, because we come from tools like Nikto, like another console tools, or
Yeah.
Dalfox or whatever. But the idea to create and use YAML files, that's I believe like what's the key point, because everyone from the community can create their own YAML files. You can sell the YAML files, because I know people can selling YAML files can find something special other people cannot find, and that's a really good idea. From where this idea born? Like, from where
Yeah,
do you
actually,
get
I'm
it?
glad you asked this, because there was interesting yeah, idea behind this. I mean, specifically on the nuclear side, which is, let's say, the most used project we currently have. So I mean, yeah, I was talking about all the times we have been doing hacking and then manually. I guess at that time, there are, let's say, many there's exploit db, there's metasploit, and there's individual exploit script in php language, in python language, and the ruby
Mhm.
language. So even we used to use those things at that time, but the problem that we started to face with time, or let's say we realized that it's hard to manage those things. For example, if I'm hunting on a one target today, I know that I need to test with this CV. So I will go and download that Python script written for that CV, and I tested for it, and that's completed. I completed my step at that time. But the problem is that when I'm testing the next target again after a week or few days, I don't know where I kept my Python script. It's on the VPS or machine, so it just hard to manage to test the same thing that you wanted to follow in every test, right? So that was the one problem. And the second was the environment. Like if it's exploited in the different language, it's hard to maintain an environment. I mean, in early days, you will start with your own local machine, right? Or VMs, or stuff like, yeah, at best you can use VPS. So if you're using those script in multi-language, you have to make, yeah, you need to maintain the environment, and it's easily to get messed up. So the environment was the second thing that keep coming as a blocker. And the third thing was the information about the exploit itself. I mean, it's in the script that you're not looking at in terms of what the request is going to make, or what it is. But if you found some vulnerability, for example, you found SSRF in one of the Zira plugin, you wrote a script for it. But if you just wanted to run it across all the targets, or you wanted to run it in your next pen test, or target, it's hard to maintain or keep that information managed, that you can reuse it every time you wanted to. That's where the idea came from, in terms of, let's say, let's start with simple configuration file which requires no effort in terms of knowledge of development, and you just keep the basic information defined there in the YAML file, that you just write for once and you use it for always. I mean, you don't need to rewrite it anymore. So that was the idea how we started it, the simple YAML file. You just have basic information about the exploit itself, and the request that it requires to make, and then basically basic matches that you wanted to confirm. So it was so simple in terms of to maintain. It was so simple to write. which could be it could be written by anyone. And then it's a, let's say, the platform or environment agnostic, right? It's the Nuclei's Go program, which is compiled on any environment, and then the template is can be used anywhere as well. So those were the key problems that we had that time, and we thought a simple YAML file with basic information, I guess, let us to store the vulnerability information that we need to remember. I mean, the most common problem is that we found something, we test it again, but the next time you're testing it, you might not remember that exploit itself, or you're not keeping track of everything, right? So converting that information the template form, so we don't need to remember it again, and then also able to reuse it, was the key reason behind starting with this idea. And to be honest, when we started, we we did not, let's say, think about a lot about the Nuclei template project itself. Our main focus or idea or interest was more about making the customizable engine, the Nuclei engine, where it gives ability to user to write whatever they want. So the customization factor was the main motivation. So to make it the engine powerful, that it allowed to write complex templates, which user can write based on their interest, their needs. So we never thought that Nuclear template project will become a community project. And when we started, we actually just added a 10 Nuclear templates just to give example or idea about how you can write your own template. But initially, our interest was to just make the powerful customizable engine, which empowers the user to write the template. But I guess when we started, people liked the idea so much that everyone started to contributing back to the Nuclear template project, and then yeah, I guess from that point we just yeah we just started to be more focused on the both side, making the engine the customizable and powerful as well. And then also there is a Nuclear template stream, which is like vulnerability database kind of thing, which we really happy to see growing with time.
One of the other things, it's very interesting for me because you said that I make you the question before, like you come from developer side. You said no, I come from hacking. I was working on hacking because one thing that's very surprising for me is you create Nuclei with Golang, and it's not very common language. The people that start working with Python because it's more easy. Do you want to start, or maybe another one? But why you take the decision to start with Go at that time? Because it's like long time ago.
No, no, definitely. Actually, I think, yeah, I feel lucky in a way where I guess it's we got the right team. Actually, we we are, let's say, when we started, we are four member of a team when we started with, and everyone has their, let's say, their expertise, I would say. So two of our core let's say co-founders were expert in Go language itself, so they had previous background, they have been writing Go programs before as well, so they had strong let's say background writing Go programs in the past as well. So I guess it just become default choice, because something if you're already familiar with. So yeah, I guess at that time the idea was it was matter to start with. I guess we already had uh, team members who was really well, let's say, had a strong background in the core language. And I guess the reason, I mean, the same question I had, and I also, let's say, the same interest in terms of why go over other language. I guess it's pretty much simple. The reason, let's say, if you wanted to make a tool or project, you just wanted to keep the thing simple for the users, right? I've been using the open source project for so long, so already know how simple it is to install and run Go projects versus the other, let's say, other language where you have dependencies, or you have to manage all other stuff as well, where since go you can just compile the binary in all the platforms. You are just either building from source or just generating the binary, which is just ready to run on mostly on all the available platforms. So I guess it just make it simple for the user experience, which is the one of focus we already have. And I guess then the existing background and knowledge on the language itself just made it default choice to start with.
And Nuclei was the first tool from Project Discovery.
I would say the Nabu. I mean, I mentioned the subfinder on which we
Mm-hmm.
actually made. And then the first project we worked together was the Nabu, which is the port scanner we have. And then we worked on the STDPX, and then I guess the Nuclei. We worked on the Nuclei. So yeah, it was not first project. There are multiple projects there before we worked before starting with the Nuclei. So it was probably third or fourth project.
I know. I tell you because you are not the project. We can say the project or maybe the tool, or in my point of view, is a product. When we are talking about Nuclei, it's like you can see like it's something like someone is knowing what he is doing, right? And maybe
Hmm.
that's the reason why maybe your nouveau, or I don't remember how to say like this. It's not very common, but from my point of view, it's a very powerful tool. But the people prefer to use it many times Nmap because it's more famous, we can
Yep.
say. And also Nmap have it's an incredible tool, and every tool is for different usability. And and when you move there, like after that, I see the last tool you did is a fuzzer, right?
Hmm.
It's a fuzzing tool. And why you take the decision like, okay, I want to create another tool, because you already have something incredible. And also later we're going to talk about your product in cloud, because I believe
Hmm.
it's incredible how it works, how fine, how clear, how easy it is to use as a user. And when you move to artificial intelligence with AI, it's crazy creative. But why you take the decision, okay, I want to create another product?
Yep. No, no. This is really a great question, and also something, let's say, I wanted to talk because I see eventually there is always discussion about why to start making something new. There is already option, and many times some people who's looking to start with get yeah with get pressured with this idea about why we're working on new project. So I will start with the Nabu thing in terms of, I mean, I guess Nmap is still the best port scanner, I would say. I guess the reason I would say we worked on Nabu was more about the tool chain perspective. So, for example, as initially I mentioned, we worked on multiple projects, like probably 20 plus projects, where the idea is to make one tool that work for that specific thing. For example, is a subfinder, so it's focused on those passive subdomain enumeration tool, and there is a Nabu, which is like just basic port scanner, SYN or connect base, and similarly other tools as well. So the focus is we always wanted to make each tool simple. At the same time, they are complementing each other, and by I mean complementing each other is we wanted to keep things so simple that if we start with the subfinder, let's say eco sub example.com, you can pipe this input to subfinder, and then you can pipe the output of subfinder to Nabu, and then you can pipe the output of Nabu to HTTPX, and then you can pipe the output of HTTPX to Nuclei. So this, I mean, you're just running all the flow from reconnaissance to vulnerability scanning without doing any additional arguments or option. You basically just pipe all the input and output to one to another. So I guess that was the exactly reason. In the map itself, we don't have that standard output option that we can just get from as an input for other tools. So we just wanted to make our tool chain simpler, that complement to each other. So that was the reason, let's say, why we did that. And also Nabu is not an alternative to Nmap. I guess Nmap do a lot of stuff and useful for multiple things, including port scanning as well. Our idea is to simple lightweight port scanning, which we can pipe from our existing project and move the output to next project. So that was the reason, let's say, why we worked at. And I guess even this is the reason I would, even for the simpler stuff, I mean, I guess there's a lot of people trying to work on the new projects. I guess working on new project is not about reinventing the wheel or reworking the existing works. It's mostly for, I guess, for everyone who start with it's more about having that experience, or creating the tool experience, or learning about the specific thing. I mean, you could just reuse any of the existing project for the work you're looking for. But if your interest is to learning about the process, how the input, how the source, how the in and out is happening in the tool, you will only learn by writing that project itself. So I guess for the most of time, it's the learning stuff, or the reason that motivates everyone to start with something, even there is the 10 options out there. So I don't even think, let's say, yeah, we should always try to encourage, I guess, anyone who's trying to do things, even if there, I guess, is it really helps a lot in terms of just learning about the process while working on the project itself. And and I guess having the same thing doesn't hurt. In a way, you have now more options, and but yeah, it's not always even about the option. There is always a learning thing. But yeah, I guess in case of Nabu, that was the reason. And there could be similarly multiple reasons why someone would do something. So there is always story behind something someone
Mm.
does.
I make you this question, Sandeep, because Project Discovery it's a free tool, and all the tools are you creating, it's for free, most of them.
Yeah.
And the thing is like from where you take the money. But I don't want to make you the question first. I save this question for later. But the first I have the next question is like, okay, you create that, and after that you move to the cloud version of Project Discovery, and I believe it's super clean. I don't know who did the design, but it's genius, and it's very clean, easy to use. Why you take the decision to create this Project Discovery Cloud? And you believe this, or I don't know, but this is the tool like some companies at that moment is buying for use in the pen testing as a professionals or something like that.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I guess we have been working on the cloud platform from the last year, and I guess at this time we are at the right stage where we have more than a good number of customers. I would say, yeah, not to specify them, but there's a lot of there's a good number of enterprise customers using the platform. So that's nice. It's doing well, I guess. By the way, yeah, about the question you asked, let's say. Wha Yeah, the question was why we decided to do the cloud, and that is the question, right? So yeah, I guess we have been doing the open source work, or let's say developing open source projects from last 5 years. And I guess, yeah, as I mentioned initially, we started with doing this for 2 years as even as a part-time work, where we were working as a full-time and doing these open source work for 2 years in our part-time. And I guess after 2 years, when we got interest, from investors to do this full time, and if it's something you guys like to do, you can go do it full time and have more impact. I mean, we always love doing the open source work, and I guess always would be. I guess the reason also why we spend so much time and will be spending more time around the open source is I mean, we always knew the problem we are facing is not just our own problem. And I guess, I mean, in the security space, everyone doing the same thing, right? If you're doing security testing, you are following the same step, and if you're facing problem, then others people are facing too. So I mean, it was the default thing. Even it was not something to consider. I mean, we met all through GitHub. We introduced to each other to open source projects. So there's no question about, let's say, if something we should do open or not. It was always the default option. And I guess the other thing which keeps us excited and to be working on the OSS side is basically the impact that we get to see that our work or our projects are making on the community. I mean, this is the most, let's say, this is the main motivation, I would say. I mean, the if you see your work is, helping a lot of people, so you cannot imagine anything else better than this, where your work is directly making impact on thousands, or not sure how many peoples, but it really, let's say, keep us motivated to continue what we are doing, because you never get a chance to do something like that where you have this much impact of your work. So that was primary motivation, I guess. This is something we will always doing. And I guess, and then I talked about, after 2 years, we decided to go full time, which means we took an investment from investors. So at that time, we already know, like, if we are making that decision, we also need to make a commercial, business. We are starting a company, so we need to make the commercial solution as well. But at that time, I guess, when we took the investment, we were pretty much clear that this is not something we just going to just now build a commercial solution. The OSS is something we have been doing. I mean, that's what we know to do. So we don't want it to change up anything like that. And I guess we got good investors team. Even now, they simply, let's say, believe in our idea. So they always let us do what we wanted to do. So we even after we started the investment, we spent 3 years just doing mostly, primarily just creating new tools, new projects, and maintaining all the existing projects we have. I guess it's the last year when we started to, focus some shift on the cloud side, because one, that we know we need to make a commercial solution in order to, allow us to do continue what we are doing. Just imagine, if we are not doing any commercial business, we are not able to, do this the open source work for long. Uh, so one, just to continue what we are doing on the OSS side, we need to make commercial solution. And then, I mean, over the time, the good thing is that we now have a good tech stack at the to start with. I guess this is the plus point, I would say, for us, where generally you see most of companies start with building a solution on the top of open source tools, where they cannot even, control or manage
Mm.
the tech. The So it's really become hard to develop the solution where you cannot directly, control the stuff in terms of what's the tech, or something needs to be changed, you have no control over it. I guess this is the best part on our side, where we have all the tech built on by ourselves as well. So we not only, able to make change that will make things smoother for development on the cloud side, but also, yeah, it's the ready-made tech stack that we have been building over years, which is, proven to be stable. And the same time, we know what things we need to tweak or change to make it easily scalable on the cloud side. I guess that helps a lot. So even, let's say, the period of like in 1 year, we built the cloud product. I guess we yeah we now there are many companies that been already using it. I guess that's the answer to the question. One, we need to make commercial solution in order to us continue what we are doing on the open source side. And at the same time, our since we know our focus is to have impact on as much as possible through the open source, at the same time on the commercial side as well, right? So now we are also focusing on the building enterprise solution, where there are many companies, looking to solve this security thing, and mostly is the scale that becomes problem. But I guess, yeah, since the tools that we have been working for so long, we
Mm.
really, let's say, well aware about things that we can do to make those things easier. And that, yeah, that's happening right now. So happy we are doing this.
And Then I come to another question, because one of the things when you start your platform in the cloud, and many people doesn't know, you cannot use Google Cloud or use Amazon AWS to do pen testing. At least it's not legally allowed inside of the platform, because it's like you are using these IPs for do some pen testing, and some people can use this platform for, we can say, not the right way. And how you create this cloud solution is like you are handling your own servers at that moment.
Yeah, actually, this is the great question, and also a reason why we actually not able to provide the vulnerability
Mhm.
scanning option open to everyone. I mean, same as open source. Our idea is to same on the cloud side as well. We wanted to make the platform available to as much as people as possible. So we even building. I mean, we have, let's say, the uh, free sign up or open sign up where you can do a lot of stuff like subdomain discovery, enumeration, all those stuff. But the reason we not able to provide the vulnerability scanning option to everyone is because the cloud abuse stuff, as well, as since this is something we will be running from our own infrastructure, we need to be responsible for that. But since, and that's the reason why we cannot just make it available to everyone, because then yeah, it becomes issue for the same reason. So
Mhm.
so on the cloud where we where we are providing the solution, you have, let's say, the whitelist IP. So there's cloud net or network where all the scanning traffic is going through a fixed IPs, and as a enterprise user will you will always have option to whitelist those IPs to perform the scan as expected. So it's mostly, let's say, you are scanning through whitelist IPs or fixed static IPs that is basically assigned to do that stuff, and that's how then on the other side you can also whitelist the same IPs, and then you're able to perform the scanning. So
Mhm.
so so it's the static IPs is what is making it possible, and the same reason, unfortunately, we cannot make this open to general use as well. We are still having some ideas of thinking how we can make this possible, or let's say, so we can open the platform for more uh, wide user base. But yeah, this is the reason, let's say, it's not open
Mhm.
right now for
And also
everyone.
for legal reasons, I believe, because every country had different legal stuff, and can be so difficult. Because at least from my point of view, when I start to do like international projects, I need to take care of the legal stuff of different countries for GDPR, like how to do the pen testing, but for all like legal reasons, different stuff, and that can be so tricky, and more if you are working in your own platform, right? Then, and after that, you create also the last feature, we can say, you enter it in Nuclei, is artificial intelligence useful. Then that's sick, because I don't know from where you take it, because you are running this artificial intelligence in your own server, right?
Yep, yep. No, I mean, yeah, it's amazing because I mean, since the inception of the AI, there's always, I mean, the use case is what we are looking for in terms of how you can leverage the AI to do the stuff that you wanted to do or achieve. And I guess that there is so many great use case that we already experienced. For example, I mean, in the development, AI is really doing great, even for doing development itself. I mean, on our team side, we really make good use of it. But I guess on the security side is where we are keep looking or explore where the AI can help us, and we're still, let's say, exploring that, because there is not a lot of direct use cases till now. I guess there has been, but yeah, I guess it's not as common as you would see in the other spaces. So this was the one thing, I guess. Parth is one of our team member who basically came up with this idea where we already have this AI editor thing in the platform, which is open to everyone. You can sign up and use the AI editor in the platform. But so this API is already there in our cloud platform. It's just the API integration in the Nuclei we did, which basically really helped to ease the UX of creating Nuclei template. And the key part is you are not only just creating, but you are also scanning as well. So just doing that, yeah, just you know, just scan for git config file, just writing that, and creating template and scanning against all your target. It just sounds so simple to use, but yeah, I would say the API was already there, always available to use for users on the cloud platform with no subscription. We just ported that API into Nuclei with AI option, which just make it you yeah, just simplified the use case or UX of that part. But I guess at this point we are more, more into exploratory phase, where we are just trying to find more and more use cases where you can make use of AI to make things simpler that you have been doing. So I would say this is just one of our first thing we did, but we are always looking for more things, and probably you will see more stuff coming out. But yeah, this is the first thing, and I would say just did really well and doing well. So it was nice to see.
And you say something very interesting is because some people is afraid for their artificial intelligence, right? But they say, "Oh, it's gonna take my job" or something like that. But the people don't understand that at the same velocity or maybe faster, white hat hackers like an axe, we are using AI. Black hat hackers are using AI for do bad things. And it's like it's a race with the cat or the mouse, like trying to trap one to the others, right? And finally, always I say the important here is not only who is the first. The important here is like take care of the companies and take care of the data of the people and take care of the people, because finally, always behind of these numbers of these IDs have people behind, and this is important, no? And on the other hand, like something it's very 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 blow my mind, like how your team and your other people can be motivated during years not making money, creating this amazing tool. Like how you like, I mean, like the last question I want to do it for you is like, at that moment, like your company is making some money, because I hope so, because I want the best for that people, because I love everyone of it.
Yeah, no. This is definitely, I guess, yeah, we started to make now in recent year, but yeah, definitely we we need to continue grow more and more in order to continue what we have been doing for years. So definitely, but yeah, to answer your question, I guess two things you asked. Let's say the the AI doing stuff, good or bad, and then how we keep let's say get ourselves motivating for such long time. I guess one about the AI. I think AI is just tool, just like any other thing. We just depend on you how you're using it. You can do all the things with it like anything else, right? So it's just on you, this like how you're looking to make use of AI and for what purposes. So it's just who is using it. I guess there's always good bad use cases. It's just more a matter of how you're looking to use it. And I guess you can just use it for so many things. It just help you to do things in more let's say better way how you used to do before, or let's say have, let's say, a concentrated amount of knowledge that you use to, you cannot have it available on your keypad before. So I guess yeah, it's really useful if you use for the right purposes. And the second thing, I think you asked about how we all us keep getting motivated for a long time and doing so. I guess yeah, this is how it got started. I guess with the reason we they started to publish the open source project is because, let's say, we always wanted to make projects that get impact on the larger audience side that can help a lot of people. And I guess over time it just become more and more, and we can see that, right? We can see the number of people using the projects. We can see people sharing about the impact they had, and how they made use of our tools to find the stuff they have been doing. So all those things, let's say, keep increasing with time, and that's the, I guess, that's the primary reason while also with time we keep us motivated, continue with what we are doing. And that's the prime reason, I guess I would say. And second, I guess the team as well. I guess we started with the four members, and I guess around now we are 30 people. And I guess we started to build our team just keeping this in mind. I guess everyone is, mostly for all of us team, is from the community itself, where they already know what we are doing, and it is something they also feel motivated the same way. So I guess it's the culture team that we built out who really enjoys contributing to the open source and have it, let's say, something, take it as a pride to their work that is being used by millions of people. And I guess that reason itself is sufficient to keep us motivated. But definitely we would like to spend time on the cloud work as well, so we continue to do what we love to do. So yeah, definitely.
Then, Sandeep, I believe I have more questions, but we are running out of time. And for me, it was a pleasure, and I hope for some people it was super interesting. Like for me, like know you, and also I have millions of questions behind, like how you created the product, what is gonna be the future of Project Discovery. I have thousands of questions, but maybe I can invite you another day, and we can have at least another nice conversation together. And thank you very much for your time, and my pleasure,
Definitely.
man.
Same here. I enjoyed, and definitely we can sync up later as well. Thanks, Albert, for inviting
Thank you
me.
very much, and don't leave the studio, okay? And we will talk later. Thank you very much. Bye bye for the
Bye
audience.
bye.
Bye bye.